Hello, I'm Enyce Smith, and coming up on Beyond the Runway, we have the LA mother, Gia Garçon. She's gonna be talking about everything from her being a model, from her even being a makeup artist, working with people like Keisha Coles and Brandy. So you don't wanna go anywhere, because guess what? This is gonna be a good interview. This is Beyond the Runway. Hello everybody, and today on Beyond the Runway, I have the soft, the long, the beauty, the sexy model, the mother of Garcon, Gia.
Hi everyone.
Hi Gia. Hi sister. You look pretty in all your white.
Thank you.
Yes, you kind of give me Aaliyah tease with the hair. Who did your hair?
Corey Jones.
Corey.
My hair is by CJ.
Yes,
Shout out
CJ.
to CJ.
Hi, brother. I love you. Okay, so let's get right into this. All right. So I want to know, where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles, born and raised.
Born and raised in Los Angeles. That's where you're from. Yeah.
Yes, I'm from Compton.
Okay, Compton. Holla. Okay, so I know of you. I know you are a dancer. You know, I know you've been dancing for about 15 years. What made you want to dance?
Honestly, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. At about 5 years old, my grandmother used to observe and kind of watch me dance around the house and dance in music videos. And at that time, I didn't really have any direction or any guidance. My mother was working and my dad was incarcerated. So she just decided to sign me up, and she enrolled me originally with 3 classes, ballet, jazz, and tap, and it just kind of went from there.
Okay, yeah, I also did ballet,
right, I remember.
Jazz, and tap. I sucked at tap. But you know what? You saw me perform before,
yes,
straight jackets and stuff, so yeah. But yeah, I'm also trained and stuff. You know, I do hip hop, you know that. So anywho, so you trained with people like Ailey, Ailey.
Ailey.
Okay.
Lula
ABT, Lula Washington, the Dance Theater of Harlem.
Correct.
And Alonzo King Lines.
In San Francisco,
In
yes.
San Francisco. How was that? How did that go?
The experience was amazing. I wouldn't take it back for anything in the world. I honestly feel like a lot of my formal expression and creativity comes from that. Genuinely, me being in tune with my body at a young age, it definitely matured me. So I've been able to deal and tolerate with a lot of different personalities for so long.
Okay, so that's amazing that you trained in all them theaters. So I understand that you was a cheerleader in high school?
Also in high school, yes, I was. At that time in 2000, and don't quote me, it was rare. It was different. It was not accepted. It was something that was not tolerated. I think I did it for myself because I felt like there was no opportunity in my high school of the arts. So that was my next outlet. And I love a challenge. I've always been invested in the art of underestimation. I love that. So for me, it was a little different. And it was hard to be accepted for about a year and a half. I took the rocks and all that bullshit, excuse my French. But, you know, all in all, I definitely feel like it matured me. I learned from the situation and I don't regret it. I feel like a lot of that created a lot of celebrity aspect and starstruck and starism in me at a young age also.
Yeah, so you saying like it was hard and was not accepted at all. Like by you being a cheerleader, did bullying come along with it? Did people try to bully you?
To be honest, I've always had a bit of a mouth, so I never could honestly accept a bully. But I do feel like there were moments where I was taken advantage of and more so judged, and people cast judgment because of the fact that I was the only guy cheerleader at the time, and the fact that I was better than most of the girls. It gave them more of a reason to nitpick at the situation, but all in all, it just made thicker skin.
Right, so you're saying you love a challenge. So you was on the cheerleading team and you said you was better than half of the girls. So eventually you became varsity team captain?
Yes, my senior year.
What happened with that? I'm like, I know people didn't accept it. Like, did it make it harder?
It was different because a lot of the girls had moments where they felt like they had the upper hand or seniority because they had been there before me. But I never took it personal because all in all, it wasn't a passion of mine. It was a hobby. So it was extracurricular. You know, I never took it that serious to where I felt threatened or I felt like I had to compete because for me, I kind of had already made my placement and achievement in that aspect.
Okay. So do you still like keep in touch with the girls on the team? Like, do y'all still get along?
Yeah, there are actually a few girls that I just recently went to their baby showers. You know, some of the girls are getting married. Some girls I still dance with. So a lot of that sisterhood mentality has maintained throughout life. And I think it's been really good for me because they've supported my whole transition, you know, which is, it can be kind of tough. So you kind of need those sisters to lean on.
So going through high school, did you ever have like any type of self-esteem problems as far as being gay at a school, being a cheerleader, being the team captain? Did you ever feel like, okay, well, because like being a cheerleader, I would feel like, and especially being the captain, I would feel like I'm a bad bitch.
Right.
Like I'm a bad bitch regardless of what y'all say, I'm doing this and what.
Right, exactly.
But I know sometimes back in the back of your mind, it's like all this bullshit that's being talked about or all this shit that's being said, it kind of break you a little bit. Have that ever kind of broke you? Have you ever been sad or yeah?
I think that came at an early age. As a kid, I was always kind of nitpicked and teased naturally because I have a scar. I know that's kind of been a topic, it's been a trending topic for some time, so let's be clear. I had a lateral hair lip where the edge of your mouth is circular instead of V-word. So they removed scar tissue from the inside of my mouth, which caused a scar. Plastic surgery over time obviously has changed. But I think it's only made me a humble person because I come from a struggle. You know, I have a story, I have something to tell. I've had to go through things that other people don't see and they will never have to understand because they won't go through that. You know, so that's why I naturally don't pass judgment on people. That's why I've been so social and vocal and you know, when people embrace me, I'm always open-handed, open-armed, you know, because I know what it's like, you know?
Yeah, do it. But does it bug you when people call you names, probably like the Joker face or stuff?
Honestly, at this age, I've met so many talented people, and I've worked with so many amazing people, and I've done so many great things that I thought I'd never imagine happening in my lifetime, to the point to where those small words are not even really words to me, because at the end of the day, it's not going to hinder me, it's not going to hurt me, it's not going to do any of those negative things. It's only going to make you feel better, I guess, for that.
So back in the day, it was you, Corey, and Star. So yeah, you had walked in caution tape. What made you want to join the ballroom scene? Like, what happened? Because I know I just seen you in the club and you was dancing and splitting. So
well, initially, I had kind of got a bad taste in my mouth, just kind of dealing with the scene as a club goer and a party girl. So for the first year, like my best friend at the time, Star, was kind of rampant and raving about it. And the only thing that struck light to me was the performance aspect, because I've been a performer for so long. And I had kind of decided to put dance on the back burner a little bit because I was a little curious on my sexuality. I wanted to, you know, I had just graduated from high school. I wanted to be social and party and stuff. So for me, the first year was kind of like, I don't know about it. But I saw, like I said, the performance aspect and also the quality of acceptance. And that's kind of what really drew me in, is the fact that, you know, everybody had something in common and we all kind of shared that one bond at the end of the day. So I think that's when I really started catching in tune with it. Was about 2006.
Yeah,
no, 2005. Yeah,
2005, because you was a rodeo.
Yes, I was a rodeo.
So you was a rodeo for a little bit.
Yes.
You know, about what, 6, 7,
because there was
like
an epidemic.
About 2 or 3 years. I mean, you know, everybody have their first house. So then you became a allure. You know, what do you got to store? Allure. But you became a allure, and yeah, you eventually started to transition a little bit, I started to see the girl coming
Yeah,
out. So
it was
tell me a little
coming.
bit about that, because I mean, you know, like the same thing, I interviewed Miss Chalet, and she was a rodeo, and she became a lure. Like, what made you want to go to a lure? What made you want to leave rodeo? Because that seemed like that was your home.
Well, to be honest, I felt like it was home, but I don't think it really was because of the breakup between Givenchy and Rodeo. So there was kind of like, we were just kind of put in there. We were kind of thrown in there right around that time. So there was no real structure in our house at that time. So it wasn't really considered taken serious. So that's when I decided to go where majority of my family was before. And I just felt like that was the right place for me because I didn't really feel like any other house would promote me in the aspect that I wanted to be promoted in.
I think you came out as a lure when I was living in New York, which, I was living in New York since '08. So I was living in New York, and like I was like, you know what, that's B for Gia, that's B for you. And so you did that, you doing your thing, slaying the girls, coming out and walking fucking on point shoes. I remember that. Like,
Ms.
you know,
Rahim
that
Ball.
was everything.
That was
and then eventually you became a Garçon in
Yes.
2011. What made you want to become a Garçon? Why did you leave a lure?
Well, I had honestly transitioned and I just kind of decided that I wanted to brand myself in a different market. And I kind of wanted to be my own person because for some time I had became an allure and kind of branded in the aspect of living up to somebody else's standards. So I kind of wanted to raise the bar and set a new trend. And I did. I became my own person. I transitioned. I took about 1.5 years off. And I just, you know, put more of my time into my children and more time into being family oriented. And I really enjoyed that aspect because for so long I didn't really have that. Like there were moments in each house that I had family orientation, but all in all, I feel like Garçon has really become my home because I know these people.
Right, 'cause you
know,
became
I've
mother.
shared moments there, and I've watched these kids accept me because a lot of the kids that are in my house were there before me. So it's kind of like they had to welcome me and respond and accept, and sometimes that can be hard.
Right. So was you scared, like going into that certain situation that's becoming mother? She became mother. So was you scared to become like to go there and just be like, okay, I'm mother? Are they gonna look at me funny, or are they gonna treat me bad, or people gonna be jealous? Because it was people that was there, you know. And I mean, well, you my sister, but if I was bitter Betty, I'd be like, honey, how's she coming over here? And you know, like, did you feel like you was gonna get that feedback from people?
I did. I actually sat back because I was offered the position sometime before, and I felt like it wasn't the right time. I wasn't in the right headspace, and I just wasn't ready because it can be a lot. It can be a little overwhelming. But to answer your question, the way I feel like I handled it pretty well, because for the first year it was a little rocky. The kids were kind of still living off the aspect of just having Ivani as father and not being obligated to listen to me. So it took me some time to build that strength to stand up for myself and kind of earn that respect level. Go ahead.
I was a little nervous for you at first because, you know, at first I felt some type of way because you're my sis. And I just remember we was in the club at the Abbey, and I don't know what happened, but something happened. I think we was with your sister, Jasmine? Yeah,
okay.
Something happened, and these white boys like they was about to attack you, and like me, Day, and Nino, we all ran up. And the Garçons just sat there with their little glasses on, and I was like, kind of like, okay, why is she in that house? Because they did not run up, and she's supposed to be the mother. They supposed to protect her.
Right.
But now that I see it, you brought a lot to the house. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot, image-wise and everything. But I kind of felt like that was a little bougie of them. No disrespect, just keeping it real. Do you feel like your house is stuck up? Because a lot of people feel that way.
Okay, I would definitely like to set the record straight because I think that label has been placed on us, honestly, throughout the years. I think we've supported the West Coast as much as we can.
Yes,
but
you have.
At one point or another, you know, spending all that money, participating in all these events, and not really getting anything out of it besides a cold shoulder because either there's politics or a fight, it's discouraging. And at one point or another, you have to put your foot down. And a lot of my kids, they have jobs, they have priorities, they have responsibilities. So this is not first priority in any of our lives.
Y'all hear that?
So honestly speaking, I feel like it's not that we're better or above. You know, we just have chosen our battles and we fight wisely.
Yes, and you heard it first right here on Beyond the Runway. That's why I love this show. Okay, so enough of that. So now, I have met your real mom.
Yes.
She is a beautiful, beautiful woman, beautiful spirit. I met her on that set of Leave It on the Floor. Me and Gia did a movie called Leave It on the Floor together. And, you know, it did good. You know, people like Sierra, Kelly Rowland, they seen it. And
catch that on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix. So your mother supported you from day one. Can you just tell me a little bit about that and how do you feel about that? Like, how close is your mom? Like, because there's a lot of young, you know, people
girls like myself.
Yes, and their parents is like, nope, on the street, they go to prostitution, and you're the opposite. Your mom is there.
I'm lucky. It really took a long time for me to understand that, and it took up until maybe about a year ago, and it really took for my mom to be in an environment where it was nothing but people that respect me and appreciate my art, and to see how they respect her. And that's when I really took the moment to sit back and kind of appreciate the fact that they see how much she puts into my everything. It doesn't matter what it is, you know what I'm saying? And I know that there's so many people that want that acceptance. And for a long time, I didn't have that either. You know what I'm saying? My mom had her ups and downs also. You know, no one's parents are perfect, but I feel like that's where you learn most from them, you know, is when they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, because if you don't learn bad, how do you get the good aspect?
Right.
So with that being said, I think her supporting me through this transition has only not made our relationship stronger, but also with my father, because in the beginning he wasn't willing to accept the change. He's from Cincinnati, Ohio, so that's really a big issue. But we overcame that recently, and we're on a good page in this book, I think now.
How important do you think it is for our community to have our parent support?
I think it's important. For the most part, because I feel like at one point or another, you can't really rely on the gay community as much as you need to, because ultimately we're all friends and we all feel like we're equal. So sometimes people can be a little bit more competitive, or nevertheless they have trust issues. So it's always good to have that family to fall back on, because they're going to support you no matter what.
Okay. A lot of young gay men and people that's transitioning, they go through a lot of issue with their parents. And I know everybody know about the Bull, you know, Santa Monica Highland. I had a friend, you know, best friend guy. He was out there living his life, you know, he was doing what he was doing.
Right.
And, you know, I felt like he lost his life to the lifestyle, like, you know, but I felt like if his mom was more involved and was more accepting of it, I think it probably would be different. But you never know, because everything is meant to happen for a reason. So I know we both got something in common. I know you recently lost a best friend, which was my brother. And I want to know, how do you feel about that? Because a lot of people want to know that, because when that happened, the first person I thought about was you. Thought about Miss Chalet, you know, I thought about Joey, Little Trey. You know, how did that make you feel?
It was shocking. Excuse me. But only because I wasn't ready and I didn't know. He called me a month before he died, and he told me to come to the hospital. So I went to see him. Excuse me. And it was rough. I had to call my best friend to come with me because I couldn't do it alone. And we went to see him, and he didn't have support from his mother, his father. So I was pretty much all that he had. And I think that was the toughest part for me, because I had to be strong for the both of us. And I knew that he was going to die. Before he died, I knew that he was going to die, and he was, you know, kind of warning me about the situation, but I couldn't believe it, because he was so young and he was still vibrant. You know, he had so much of his life to live, but at the same time, now that I think about our happy moments, I only recognize him having 10 times more fun than anybody else.
Yeah.
So all in all, I feel like he lived a long life and he enjoyed it, you know, but I do reach out to all the young kids that are dealing with situations like that because it is real. And, you know, I definitely want all of you to know that you have to keep your head up because, and however, things can be 10 times worse. And that was something that I think God wanted me to go through to prepare myself for bigger issues. It wasn't easy, and I'm still grieving, but he is in a better place. And I'm so happy that I can tell part of his story, and he will always live on through me.
Yeah, I loved him. I really did. And I know
he's in a better place.
He's in a better place.
He is.
He's in a better place. So, you know, it's going to get better in time.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with sobriety and being comfortable with understanding that you have a problem and that you're not by yourself. And that there are people that are willing to help you if you want the help.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. So besides the sad stuff, because it's a beautiful thing.
It
he's
is
in heaven.
so.
He's watching over you. He's a guardian angel. I have plenty of them. Okay, so besides the ballroom scene, besides the dancing and stuff, I also know you do makeup, and you also as a model. I know you auditioned for America's Next Top Model.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because that's a long story.
It was actually cut pretty short. It has always put a bad taste in my mouth because I feel like a lot of the models don't get enough accreditation and they're kind of branded in one aspect. Once you become America's Next Top Model, that's pretty much it. And I never really wanted to be that brand because I don't want to feel structured and tied down. I don't like limits. So a photographer that I work with frequently, shout out to David Laff.
Yes, hi.
He said, hey, why don't you audition? I was like, well, he's like, you know what? You're not getting any younger. If you want to continue to pursue your career, why not? And I was like, you know what? You're right. Let's do it. So I took the time out and I made my audition tape. I did the video editing and everything that I was supposed to do. And audition day was pretty long and rough. Just because it was so many personalities, so many people that think they're models, so many people that think they have great runway, they want to walk up and down the halls 50 million times, and it just becomes like really draining. There was a little bit of a confrontation. A girl said some smart remarks that I know how to handle because I've dealt with it before. But honestly, it just reminds me of how much I've overcome and how much I've dealt with and how much confidence I have within myself to continue on. I did get a call back, but you know, the show is already done taping. So, I mean, it was something that I feel like I needed the experience just to kind of put under my belt and say that I've done. But I honestly feel like there are bigger projects that have my name on them.
Yeah, you know, because with that show, you got to be careful. Like, you have to be careful. My friend Eugenia Washington was on the show, and you know, it been good to her. Like, she, you know, I was in the barbershop and I seen her in this Ford commercial. Like, you know, it been good to her. So, you know, you really honestly got to be careful because some people are chosen. And I mean, like you said, you have things that got bigger names on it. Your name
absolutely
on it. So I know you worked with Brandy.
Yes,
you know, the legendary Brandy. And I know you just now recently worked with Keisha Cole. Tell me a little bit about that. How did that come about?
Well, Corey does my hair frequently throughout, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 years Corey's been doing my hair. And he does Keisha's hair. So it was actually like very sudden, very sporadic. I got a phone call that they needed a few extra makeup artists on set, and I said I would do it. And it was a great setup. I do personally feel like I'm not behind the scenes. I'm definitely, you know, in the forefront. I definitely have star quality that I can't sleep on now. But it was a good experience. And I do feel like, you know, it's a side hustle and there's something else I can see myself doing in about 15 or 20 years when I have, you know, the wrinkles and, you know, they don't sit up as high as they do now.
Awesome. Right, exactly. So I know you have a sister. She's Instagram famous. She's also a model, Jasmine J.
Yes.
A lot of people think that y'all are blood, but y'all are not.
No, she's from Detroit. That's my best friend. We actually got acquainted in high school. And I can honestly say sophomore year, Junior year. Second period. That's it.
That's it.
We
That's
never
all.
separated.
Okay,
since
okay,
then.
that's good. Okay, so now legendary status. You got deemed legendary last year at
Yes.
the awards ball.
Yes.
I want to know, do you feel like you deserved it?
Yes. I deserve it. I work hard.
Hard.
I
So
worked hard.
what do you have to say to all the haters that have something to say about that?
Hi, haters. Thank you. Shout out to you.
Exactly. So for people that want to be legendary, what do you think it takes for them to get to that level?
It takes patience, for starters. It takes longevity. It takes drive. It takes passion. It takes strength. It takes a lot, honestly speaking. But I'm a testimony. I'm living proof. If you want something, go for it. Go get it. It's yours. Because I wanted it, and it's here. It's mine. I claimed it.
Yes, you claimed it. And you did a beautiful job at that.
Thank you.
Gia, I love you.
I love you more.
Our time is up. And I just want to thank you for coming on my show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and
I
you're
really
beautiful as
appreciate it.
always. I mean, this one piece is just everything.
Bye, guys.
So, yes, but give me a hug, because I always give everybody a hug. Mwah, 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 mwah. So, everybody, this is Beyond the Runway. I'm your host, Enyce Smith.